What's up, Pursuit Nation? You got your president, KHD59 Gaming here, and today we are back in the KPL with our Season 2 draft analysis. I was a part of Season 1, and I would say it's a huge success, even though we lost in the championship. I know I just did MLP Season 3 draft analysis a couple days ago, and I said we lost that championship too. Getting sort of a pattern going here, and I want to break that pattern, so... Now let's talk about this team. Last season, I had a team of absolute fat, and I was the whole league put a target on my ass for being just a terrible person, and I thought it was pretty funny. So we got a little bit more offensive this time, but I didn't want to go hyper offensive because hyper offensive is really not my thing. So going into this draft, I knew I wanted Mega Pincer, so I tried to build a team around it being supported very well. So I did some research on that, and then I got some things that will help out that very, very well. So with that being said, we're going to get into this draft. So the first thing, I'm going to share my franchise first with you guys. So a franchise, for those of you that don't know, is a Pokemon you keep from a past season to use again for a small amount of points. I'm sure I was the only person to franchise a Tier 5 Pokemon. And the Tier 5 Pokemon that I franchised was Alolan Exeggutor. This thing was absolutely amazing for me last season, and that was because of Trick Room. Trick Room, Alolan Exeggutor really put in a lot of work. It can be special, physical, mixed. It has decent bulk, and then like its speed. Its speed isn't like a GOAT tier for Trick Room, but it's good enough. Like obviously, Stack Attack is gonna outslow you, but I only came across that problem once last season. So, but yeah, this thing gets a lot of coverage. It gets Leaf Storm, Draco Meteor. It gets Dragon Hammer for a physical side. It gets Wood Hammer. I didn't put that on there. It gets EQ. It gets Flamethrower. Dragon Pulse. It also gets Wish. It's just a tech move I put on there. I actually ran Wish once last year against Phoenix, so that's good, I guess. It has two pretty good abilities in Frisk and Harvest. I ran Frisk every single time because I didn't feel like running Harvest. I mean, if I had a meme battle, I probably would have ran Harvest out of pity. Grass Dragon typing does give me a 4x weakness right off the bat, and as you can see, I'm going to develop quite a nice weakness, but I think I have the resistances I need for it to be okay. So, with my franchise, we're going to move into my round 1 pick, and I wanted something to be able to get Stealth Rocks and Defog, and with a round 1 pick, you can probably see where I'm going with this. I got Mew. Mew's going to be one of my Z users because, well, you see Stealth Rocks, Defog, and everything else. I didn't want to list all its coverage because we'd be here all day if I did. This thing is the absolute Swiss Army knife of Draft League. Mew can do anything from be defensive, it can be some sort of pivot, it could be an entry hazard setter, entry hazard remover, it can be physical special, it can be setup, it can be SD, it can be nasty plot, calm mind, bulk up, even gets rock polish, and then this thing gets every single piece of coverage known to man. And then base 100s across the board, being it's relatively bulky, and then 100 attack and special attack does have the potential. I just like the setup option with it. Synchronize is a very neat ability in statusing your opponent the way they status you. That's pretty much what I have to say for Mew. So Mew's support for Mega Pincer comes in with Defog, where Mega Pincer is 4x weak to rock and could take a fuck ton from those stealth rocks, so we don't want them up on our side of the field when Mega Pincers in play. So the next piece of material, what? The next thing I got for my team that was going to support Mega Pincer very well was Magnezone. Magnezone, as you can see, it doesn't run too many moves. It's just stabs, momentum stab, tech move that I'll probably use a couple times. I really love Mirror Coat, so I think I'm definitely going to use it. Hidden Power, and then Signal Beam. With its stats, 130 special attack is amazing. It can run Choice Scarf. It can be Specs for maximum power. I really wish this thing had got agility, but that's just me. I don't know if anyone else feels that. But anyway, Magnapole, great ability. It traps other steel types. Celesteal and Skarmory being two things that absolutely wall Mega Pinsir, and Pinsir can't touch for shit. Magnezone can really help out there. So that's kind of one of the main reasons to draft Magnezone. Magnezone can also deal with other electric types like Tapu Koko relatively well. Yeah. This is just a lot of standard OU knowledge. So I keep talking about how I'm going to get Mega Pinsir, and round 3 goes, and a lot of people really don't have Megas yet. So I'm scared to shit that I didn't get Mega Pinsir, and guess what? We did not get not what we wanted. We got Mega Pinsir. I know, that was terrible. I'll never do that again. So, moving on to the fact of Mega Pinsir, this thing is an absolute beast of a wall breaker with Sword Stance. It gets Aerialate Return. Aerialate is an ability that turns boosts normal type moves and then changes them to flying type moves. And then since Pinsir's a flying type, it adds stab boost. So Return's going to be super powerful. Frustration if I'm having a bad day and I really want to run that instead. But I prefer Return because it's the same fucking thing. Quick Attack for priority. That's one of Pinsir's main sweeping moves with SD. Close Combat for bulkier rock types and steel types. Earthquake is also going to be for steel types. And then Knockoff is oh, I just lost my train of thought there. Knockoff is mainly going to be there for Bronzong, because levitating steel types are absolutely broken. This is my opinion. Floating steel types are just nuts. Magnezone can actually deal with that pretty well too. Anyway, so along with Mega Pinsir, I don't remember this order at all. I made this yesterday, and then started raining. I was gonna record this yesterday, but it started raining. It's actually still raining a little bit now, but I don't think you'll notice. I named my Pinsir Craftsman because it's a Pinsir. It has sharp things for horns. So next round, I believe I got Terrakion, I want to say? Yes, okay. I'm just trying to remember this. So, Terrakion with the Justified ability can switch into Dark-type moves and boost its attack by 1 stage. I think that's really helpful to with Pokemon like Mega Absol. I made Terrakion my second and final user because Terrakion's main sets involve setup, which would be Sword Stance, Rock Polish, Double Dance, and then its main stab in Stone Edge and Close Combat. It could also run Rock Slide if I'm not hitting them Stone Edges. It gets EQ for like, let's say, I don't know, Dewblade's just an example that's immune to fighting and resists rock. I also face a Nidoking week 1, so like Earthquake would be helpful for that. Let's see, Zen Headbutt is also there for, I don't know why Terrakion would run Zen Headbutt, actually. I'm trying to think of a good example of how it could run Zen Headbutt. I guess against the Nidos as well, because I guess that would be a lesser option if they expect them to do Shuka Berry for you. Yeah, that's like the only option. Then X Scissor could be for bulkier psychic types that resist rock, like Claydol, and then maybe Celebi. Yeah, I'm running out of things to say about Terrakion. Base stats like pretty swank. 129 attack is really good paired with the 108 speed. And then I have Buford Van Stom is my nickname because he just looks a lot like Buford from Phineas and Ferb. So then round 6, I believe I got Alolan Ninetales. I know I should memorize this order, but I just don't care enough. Let's see. With the Snow Warning ability, Alolan Ninetales can set up Aurora Veil immediately, and then have Blizzard always hit. Then I can just have Ice Beam and Freeze Dry as my other ice coverage, and then Freeze Dry is nice to be able to hit bulky water types. I'm glad I sniped that up, because then my team would get fucked by this thing. No, like, actually. And then we have Moonblast as its main fairy stat, and it just gets Dark Pulse as an extra coverage move. And then Nasty Plot if I want to run Setup Ninetales. And then its base stats aren't that good. I mean, the only thing that's pretty neat is the 109 speed, but yeah, you never know. So moving in. Oh, that was technically round 5. In round 6, I believe I got Tentacruel? Yes, okay. This is a fun guessing game. So Tentacruel, another thing that's going to support Mega Pinsir very well with entry hazards and removal. It gets Rapid Spin, which I think is one of the best moves in the game. Being able to free up hazards and even Leech Seed, because grass types that also resist poison, like Mega Venusaur, can pivot into you and Leech Seed you and fucking kill you. That's also another thing that's really neat about Tentacruel's. Liquid Ooze, it can switch into Giga Drain. Well, I mean, 120 Spadef, it's one of the perfect Giga Drain switch-ins. I mean, I have Swalot and MLP. This is better than fucking Swalot. No offense, Swalot. But anyway, base stats, they're up here and then good up here. And I mean, this is one of those weird Pokemon you're not going to really use the 100 base speed with, but who knows, maybe I will. Anyway, Toxic Spikes are really good. For my team, it could weaken down walls for Terrakion or Pinsir to clean up late game. Maybe even like Scarf Ninetales spamming Blizzard, or maybe set up Mew of some kind. Then Knockoff is good utility, gets Scald Sludge Wave. Giga Drain is like its better form of recovery outside of leftovers. And then Haze is a nice little tech move that Tentacruel gets to have. Next, I went with Licky Licky. Licky Licky is a Pokemon I've used a couple times before, and I absolutely love this Pokemon to death, and so does my boy Monochrome, aka Jeff. We actually came up with the nickname Thicky Thicky after his Licky Licky's performance against me in my first ever Draft League battle ever. I mean, I lost 5-0, I got my ass kicked, but I was a dumbass, so I kind of deserved it. Licky Licky got 3 kills that came just from seismic tossing things, and I didn't know what seismic toss did. I should have deserved to lose. I didn't know what 1,000 Arrows was in my first Draft League battle. I'm a sad motherfucker. Anyway, I'm not that much of a dumbass now. So back to Licky Licky. This thing is incredible. Great abilities that is Cloud9. So can negate weather effects. So it's an actual Mega Houndoom switching on my team because I don't seem to have one. And I have own tempo, which is just helpful for confusion if I'm gonna make this like a mega pinch check or something. Then I have Oblivious, which makes Licky Licky immune to moves like Taunt and Encore. That's also relatively nice. So against Wish, Heal Bell is like its utility moves, its cleric moves. Then it just listed some of its coverage. It gets a lot more than this, by the way, and that's kind of the reason I love it. I like a bulky mon with a lot of coverage, like Licky Licky. I think Tentacruel is more coverage than they listed too, but I'm not going to get into that now. We're past Tentacruel. So Body Slam is its main stab. It can also return an Explosion you see there. I just wanted to include that because Explosion, I really like Explosion too. I really hope I get to run that. By the way, Licky Licky can stop a Mega Glade. Choppleberry Explosion works every time. It gets Earthquake and Power Whip for other rock types, I guess. That's it for Licky Licky. I mean, decent stats, pretty fat, So this round, I kind of got sniped. I wanted Pythagoras, and that got taken. So, me being on mobile, with all this cat sitting I've done the past week, I'm a complete dumbass because I drafted Gramble by mistake, forgetting I had a Alolan Ninetales. So the draft ended, and I dropped it literally before, Yabin can say, leave your picks in no, not leave your picks. Leave any transactions you want to make in KPL Season 2 transactions in the Discord server. So I dropped Gramble for Gourgeist. So it's just another Tier 4 Ghost type I got my hands on. I've used Gourgeist in the past in the GBL. I really liked it. I mean, it can be set up fodder at times because it's, But anyway, back to Gourgeist. 3 good abilities, and Frisk, Insomnia, and Pickup. Well, not really Pickup so much. Or, I'm most likely going to be using Frisk. I should have said, good ability in Frisk. Nickname is Pumped Up Kins. All the other kids with the pumped up kins, you better run, outrun my gun. I love that song. So, it's gonna get attacks in Sea Bomb and Shadow Sneak is gonna, and then the middle is kinda just utility. Will-O-Wisp for an absolute Fizz Death Wall. And then it gets recovery options. If you want to run Synthesis, Leech Seed, Pain Split, it can run as a choice between the 3, and I think I really like that about Gourgeist. And I put Gourgeist Super on there because that's what I'm most likely to be using other than meme battles. So, I'm sad because I was guaranteed playoffs by week 13 last year, and there were 15 weeks in the season and I didn't get to meme. Because both of my week 14 and 15 opponents had matches that mattered for their playoff contentions. Stupid other people. No offense, I love you, Rooms Inside. You're great. Ah! I dropped the golf ball on the ground. Excuse me, you didn't need to hear that. Alright, so that's pretty much all about Gourgeist. That just woke me up. Nice. Round 10. No, 9, technically, because I franchised this. I need to keep remembering that. I low-key don't remember what I drafted next. Yes, Rapidash, okay. This seems kind of like an unorthodox pick, but I needed a fire type for my draft, so I went with Rapidash. This thing, I think, is actually pretty underrated. 100 attack, again. I have a lot of these base 100 attacks. Oh, fun fact, my team actually has the highest attack stat average in the league. I think that's mostly a combination of all these lower tier picks, as you'll see, and then Pinsir and Terrakion. I know Licky Licky isn't too low. I know Ninetales isn't that well. It's not. None of it's like ridiculously low. And then Mew is like base 100, so it's really helpful. So yeah, Rapidash. There's two really good abilities in Flame Body and Flash Fire. I can dictate between the two. Coltrane because it's just a horse. It can run Agility, which is a little bit of speed control for that 105 speed, which you know. Flare Blitz is its main stat. It gets other coverage in high horsepower, low kick, Mega Horn, Poison Jab. Yeah. Of course, I think its problem is it doesn't get coverage for the stuff it needs. Like, I don't think it gets Wild Charge. It may not. I don't know. Anyway. So that's Rapidash. This was a steal, by the way. I needed this, and I didn't realize it until I went on the dock, because I was on mobile drafting this entire team. So I went with Crocodile, because I didn't have a ground type or a dark type. So Crocodile, I think, is one of the best dark types in the game. That's just my personal opinion. It could be bulky with that Intimidate. It could be a Scarf Sweeper with Moxie. Anchor Point, I'm going to save that for meme battles. Alright. But this thing gets a ton of coverage. I almost ran off the page doing it. It wasn't as crazy as Mew, where like I could have just wrote everything else, because like this thing didn't get Ice Fang, and I thought that was kind of a heartbreaker for like Landorus and Gliscor maybe. Anyway, Earthquake knockoff its main stat, Pursuit, # double their power. And then its other coverage, it gets like Aqua Tail, Air Lace for like Heracross. I put Aqua Tail on there twice, I should have noticed that. Brick Break, Elemental Fangs minus Ice Fang, and then Rock Slide. Then 117 attack is okay. And then 92 speed is also okay. It makes Croak a good Scarfer, but it can also be relatively bulky, so that's nice. And then State Farm is just like insurance, liability. I didn't want to nickname it liability because that's what everyone nicknames it. So yeah, last pick, as you saw, was Kingler. There we go. I didn't even update its abilities, god damn it. But though it gets Hyper Cutter, Shell Armor, and Sheer Force. I'm mainly using Sheer Force. As you see, it gets Liquidation, Rock Slide, Superpower, Knockoff, Stopping Tantrum, Agility. So Agility is its main set, so this base 75 speed becomes more like base, I believe, somewhere in the 190s. I mean, like Scarf, Coco can outspeed this thing, but would it really run it? Anyway, even though Kingler's special stats and HP are terrible, 130 attack with Sheer Force is amazing. This thing is kind of like a water type discount Rampardos, but it doesn't get as much coverage. I wish it got more coverage because that would have been incredible. Calverton after Calverton Kinglers and my good friend T-Mouse TV, MLP vet. Great dude. So that's gonna be it for KPL. I didn't do weaknesses this time. I mean, I can just go down some of the major weaknesses here. I think I have quite a bit of a fire weakness that's kind of bad. I mean, I have an immunity and a couple of resistances to it, but I just personally don't think that's good enough. Then the ice weakness, I have 4 times, 2 times, 2 times, 2 times, and then I have resist. So I think the ice weakness is okay, and I think everything else for the most part is great. Oh, wait, fighting weakness. I also have these boys that have the bad fighting weakness, so I have Mega Pizzle that 4 times resistant, not that I'd switch it in. I have Gorgeist that's immune, Mew that resists it, and then Tentacruel that resists it. Neon Kelder is a massive problem for this team, but we'll get there. when it comes. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Week 1 we faced Basher, aka Bryce, coach of the Indiana Pessimians. So you'll see that video come out eventually. Alright, see you guys later, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.